Alright, I'm Coach Nefarious, and I wanted to comment on the concept of map pressure and try and give a little bit of explanation to what exactly that is. So first of all, let's say you have this AD carry over here, and he has a little zone around him with his support, like a little zone like this, where he can actually kill people. Let's say he just one-shots. Just for the sake of argument, this is a kill zone. Anyone who enters, boom, dead. Like a Veigar support with 10 kills. Anyway, point is, that's a kill threat, right? That's a kill zone, sorry. Now, what happens when you're over here, right? And these people go into fog of war. Let's say this is the edge of your vision, because there's some minions in there here fighting against enemy minions. There's no wards, so they leave. What happens over time? Imagine over time what's gonna happen. They're gonna be anywhere over here, anywhere over here, anywhere over here, anywhere over here. They're gonna radiate outwards, right? And depending on which path they're taking, if you don't know that, this is the area in which they have pressure. Same for a jungler. If a jungler starts here, he's gonna either be able to level 2 gank, so he has pressure over here after like 10 seconds. If there's 10 seconds of travel time in this direction, 15 over this direction, then after 10 seconds, he has pressure on the mid lane. After 15 seconds, he starts having pressure, right, on the bot lane. And eventually he can even reach top side, and you don't really know. Maybe you don't know if he stayed for Krugs and Raptors, so he has essentially pressure everywhere on the map, right? Right now he's just universally sort of an unknown. He could be anywhere, so all these 3 lanes is where this guy has pressure after like a full minute, where you just don't know where he is. Jungler has pressure all over the map. This is why deep wards are super important in anywhere. I wouldn't say pro play. In pro play, just people just have caught on to it more. They do it more, but they're important anywhere. You could say they're more important in solo queue, because the less deep wards there are, the more valuable one of them is, because it reduces, it collapses this entire thing to, oh, he's over here, and suddenly you delete all of this, and you only have pressure, let's say, in a very particular set, right? You have, like, in this river. You're in this river. This is your sort of zone in which you could be. So what pressure generally means is that you combine a little zone in which you can do something, like kill people, or at least apply damage or CC, apply your abilities, and then over time, if you're not in vision, you have the option to move in different directions, which creates the sort of the zonal threat that is known as pressure, right? So you could draw lines to indicate where the pressure on the map is right now. If you were to just be over here, even if they're in vision, this is not just a vision thing, right? It's just about where they can move over time, even if you have them in vision. So if you're over here, like, and your bot lane is in base right here, they're pushing, and the mid laners are both in mid lane, right? Or one of them is base, doesn't matter. Mid lanes are not gonna come bot lane. And maybe the jungler is in his own jungle, you're in your own jungle, right? Then, because bot lane's a base, the pressure kind of looks something like just through the bot lane, right? Sort of this is the part that bot lane controls, you could say, right? That only the bot lane controls. So mid lane might control a part of his jungle, you know, he might be able to help all the way over here, right? Maybe he can't reach through the Raptors, maybe he does, if he has priority. Maybe if it's a Lissandra who's, like, pushing this turret, he can also reach to these little parts, right? He has more pressure. He maybe has a threat to go to both side lanes, so he has even more pressure, right? Pressure is all about having the threat over time, right? So you can say, well, I'm threatening to throw a hook at you right now, and it's gonna either connect or not. Well, that's what we call a threat. Nothing more. When I might throw that hook over a certain amount of time, I'm just walking around this thresh, and I have my, like, I'm walking as thresh, right? And I have my Q up throughout this entire duration, right? Or let's say I get it up after 2 seconds, so all this time I have Q up. That is pressure derived from your Q, right? I'm not gonna say I'm threatening to hook someone. Maybe they're not. Maybe right now they're outside of my hook range. Let's say I'm Thresh. and we're gonna delete all of this again to make it a little bit simpler. Let's say I'm Thresh, I'm over here, right? And someone else over here, and my hook only extends to this line. Like, I'm not drawing a perfect circle, I'm just gonna draw a line. Like, this is the maximum range of that hook, and he is outside of it. This is a zone in which I would threaten the hook. But right now I'm not threatening the hook because it's outside of range. So what word would you use to indicate that you're zoning someone off for a particular reason? That is called pressure, right? Pressure is the tool by which you zone people off, right? The future possibility of a threat. So you have an attack. This is where playing chess comes in real handy, right? You have an attack, which is just doing shit, just like, oh, I'm slapping you in the face. That's an attack. There's a threat, right? There's a threat. A threat is if my attack, if I'm over here and you're over here, and my attack reaches to this range, and your attack doesn't matter, right? You can both threaten each other. It's not dependent on one another usually. This is called a threat, right? When I have that up. When you're over here and you still want to indicate, well, this zone around me is really important. Like, how are you going to indicate that I have an attack up, that I have the potential to create a threat if I walk somewhere, right? That is called pressure, right? Pressure is the culmination of having attack threats. So all these concepts play beautifully together, right? So let's give one example where we can use that concept. Let's say if you know that bot lane is over here. Right now they're not threatening to kill you, but you're thinking, should I walk in here? Should I walk in here? And my bot lane is in base. Should I just directly walk into them, right? Well, you know that because they have full pressure in bot lane, you don't have anything to counteract that, so you might as well go elsewhere. So you might, avoiding the use of the word pressure, you could say, if I were to walk in here, if that's going to do something I were to do in the future, if I'm entertaining that possibility, they will have a kill threat once I enter a particular range around them, right? Because they are up in this lane and my bot lane is not. Therefore, I might as well avoid them. Now that takes a lot of words, whereas I can explain it like this. Now listen to this one, right? Enemy bot lane has complete pressure. Our bot lane is in base, they have complete pressure. I'm not gonna go there. I have to use way less words, right? I can avoid the use of the words threats and attacks and kill ranges and kill zones and blah blah blah, right? So that's it. That's the use of the word, that's what it means, some examples, that's everything I got. I hope you guys enjoyed it, learned a thing or two hopefully, and I'll see you in the future.